the screen.
Are you ready?
My face.
Hello.
No.
I think we're here.
Whoa.
Welcome to the Magnet Labs podcast number 58.
58? Are we up to?
58.
Number 58.
Damn.
We've done over
We went
a
from 50 to
year's
58
worth
really fast.
in 2 years.
Mhm.
It only took 2 years to get to a year's worth, but that's not bad considering.
No,
That's
that's
only
not
if
bad.
you're counting them as once a
Substantial
week.
number.
It could be
Exactly.
anytime.
And we took a big hiatus. There was like a big hiatus at one point,
Mhm.
several months, I want to say.
And it's Wednesday in New York City here at Magnet Media in New York, right?
Mhm.
Your
That's
name
true.
is
My name is Ryan.
Ryan Swearingen.
How are you?
His last podcast.
This is my final podcast.
We'll talk more about that as we go.
We don't have to dwell on it.
We'll keep bringing
It's
it
fine.
up over and
To
over
your
again.
left,
Till
every
it's
5 minutes.
completely awkward.
to your left is
Emily Wilson. Hello.
E-Dubs. Hi, I'm RJ. RJ Capelli. Hi.
I'm Shannon.
Shannon whispers. Shannon's voice only goes up to like,
Shannon.
0.5 on the octave scale. Whatever that scale is. What story was I
It's a
telling before?
UV scale, actually.
I was telling a story
Are
about
you
TV.
the
Things
one?
that you
Oh.
DVR and
So yesterday I was like, I was talking about the fact that it's Halloween in a couple days, and
Mm.
Halloween is probably my favorite. It's actually one of my favorite like holidays. I think it's super fun. I love to get dressed up in something dumb. I usually like to get dressed up in something that's a weird, really weird physical clothes outfit, and then I love weird wigs, and I like super,
Why did you
super
look
weird,
at me when
just
you
of
said
any time.
weird wigs?
and I like because you're wearing a weird wig right now, right? Just take it off. And I loved really weird beards too. Like one of the
sure.
best costumes I ever had was I was like a super old wizard
Nice.
slash ninja.
Dumbledore
Oh,
ninja.
yes. It was very Dumbledore,
Wow.
Gandalf-y beard and hair. It was
Slash
like,
So you
ninja.
created your own character. You weren't like
I
this
was like,
specific person.
yeah, I was like, imagine if
Good
like
for you.
Splinter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Yeah.
never got turned into a rat.
Totally.
What his life would have been if he never became a rat.
Absolutely.
That's who I was. It was
That
great.
sounds about right for you.
So yeah, absolutely. I'm flexible. I can ninja kick things if I need to.
Is that why you're growing the? Are you like getting ready for Friday?
You know what the thing is about the beards is I am now, as I shave more and more, and Ryan knows this, you have to shave more frequently.
Yeah.
So the pace at which I used to shave
Yeah.
I should have shaved this morning, and I'm like, no, F that. I
I
shaved
get
on
to where
Saturday.
I shave like 2 or 3 times a week max. Yeah.
See, I want to be a 2-a-week guy. I don't
Yeah.
want to be a 3-a-week guy, and I feel like I'm heading towards 3 a week, which is disappointing. Anyways,
Wait, the more you
feel
shave,
ya.
the quicker it grows. Is that what you're
or
saying?
you just become more of like a man. You just become more manly.
Or that.
Manly.
Well, I
Being
also
the-
find like
Shredders.
I'll break out or it'll like irritate
yeah.
my
You
skin
wanna get-
depending.
yeah.
Like I either need to do it like every day or like never.
Yes.
But so I'm always
You don't wanna be
living
an
right in the
in-between.
middle where it's like shave and then it's like 4 days and then I've got like the start of a beard and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I have a meeting, I better shave or whatever.
So this has nothing to do with content marketing or
This is
being a
important
solutions
stuff.
provider.
These are deep
But
thoughts.
what I was gonna say is, so it's Halloween on Friday. I'm
Subdermal
obviously
thought.
really excited about Halloween, and I was talking about the fact that what this led me to was I was watching a weird show on ABC yesterday, like when the 8 o'clock hour, like 8 to 9, that was all about Halloween. But before I got there, I said that you know how there are these TV shows that are really good TV shows that you watch that you need to pay attention to, and then there are the shows that you have on your DVR that you specifically put on
Filler.
so you can do stuff on your iPad, do stuff on your tablet,
Background
play around with your
noise,
phone.
basically.
You need something that you're not gonna like.
So you don't feel alone.
So like for
Sad
me,
alone.
for me at least, yes, that's
Company.
my goal.
No, I understand though. It is
You
kind
know?
of it. Sadly,
Yeah.
maybe not for you, but
It's
No,
comforting.
like it tends to
100%
be like
for me.
just
Oh, yeah.
company. you know?
So for me, normally those shows are like reality dating shows that
Yeah.
involve like whether or not people are going to find true love on TV, which is something that I
Sure.
love. It's a theme that I love to explore. I love it. Shannon's dying over here. I think it's so funny. I love The Bachelor. I love The Bachelorette. I love Bachelor in Paradise. I love Bachelor Pad.
Have
all
you
all
seen?
things
There's
Bachelor,
one
because you're a
called
Bachelor.
Yeah.
Marriage at First Sight now.
No, see, I don't,
No, a
I-
90 days.
see, that sounds
something.
like
No,
Tuesday.
like you get down the aisle and you agree to
Here's
marry
the
the
thing.
person
Here's
on
the thing.
site. No,
It's like a blind wedding.
Which
Wait.
how is that?
Let's not
Anyway.
go there. I want to go there. I want to talk more about that show
Wow.
too. The thing I just want to say is like I don't. There's a certain cut above and there's a certain cut below
Mhm.
for like these dating reality shows, and like I don't get into any of that garbage that's on like TLC or like E Network. No, bro, I'm not into that. I need
Only Bravo.
I need the broadcast.
TLC
level.
was like the first
I don't care
network
what-
that did that stuff.
So what?
though.
They screwed up
Pioneers.
their first mover advantage. When ABC got in the game, it was willing to put that broadcast money.
Oh, you just want the okay. So
I need the
main
highest
networks.
quality
Okay.
stuff.
broadcast.
So
networks. All right, well,
I'm fully
Not
in on
like
cable
sex
for
sent me
you.
to the ER.
anything involving Chris Harrison. I'm
those are pretty
fully
fascinating.
I'm fully in on Bachelor Wives. But then my friends cued me in on this Are You the One on MTV, which is basically the stupidest show ever, but it's a great show to have on in the background. The plot of the show Are You the One, which is on MTV, I think on Mondays, and
This is not a plug.
I admittedly effed up and didn't record it on Monday, which is why I didn't have anything to watch in the background, which is how I will get back to my Halloween story in a sec. Is I was sitting and watching this show, Are You the One? They take like 20 people between the age of 21 and 24 and 10 girls and 10 guys, and they move them into a house in Puerto Rico.
I have heard about that show.
And so they're in Puerto Rico and they're
Always
in a
got
house.
to live in a house together.
So the hook is like, let's
key.
say
Real world.
Let's say all four of us were being cast for Are You the One?
Mhm.
Before you're cast on Are You the One, you have like a million interviews with like psychiatrists and dating
geez.
experts.
So you have to be crazy to be on the show.
And then, wait, let me
better
finish.
drama.
Let me finish. So they do all that because there's like, do you know how like the doctors from like Match.com or eHarmony or whatever feel like they have like a, an empiric solution to figure out like who your ideal match is?
Yeah.
So every one of the cast members of Are You the One goes through that process, and every single guy has a girl match that's supposedly their ideal match.
Let me guess, but they don't know which one it is.
But they don't know who it is. So here's the hook. So the hook is awesome.
Of course they don't know who it is.
See if they just happen to.
So the hook
find
is
each
awesome.
other.
So yeah, because what it does is
They're
it,
so
like,
drawn.
it
Yeah.
sort of casts like what you're physically attracted to may not be the person that you're actually supposed to be with, that kind of stuff. But the whole thing is that every single week they get 10 tries. So there's only 10 episodes. So it's an easy reality show, in and out. It's not on for a long amount of time. You have to pair up with a guy or a girl. And if every single person pairs up with the right other person that they're supposed to be with, before the end of the show, the whole cast gets $1 million total.
Well,
Wow.
They've done this show one other time. The first time they did it, they only did 10 of 10 once, and it was the last episode, and everybody took a couple $100,000 from $1 million. And so it's a great watch in the background show. I didn't have that show to watch yesterday, which was really disappointing to me. And so at 8 o'clock, I was like flipping around the channels. There wasn't any sports that I wanted to watch. I didn't want to watch Game 6 of the World Series, and like not that into baseball unless it's Yankees. There was no Rangers game on. There was just nothing for me to just background watch. There was a show on ABC called like Scared Fright Night Challenge or something weird like that, where basically I have no idea who the hosts of these shows were, and I have no idea who the people who were that were like judging whether or not these things were good. But they go around to different haunted houses that people set up and like spend tons of money on. And then at the end, they award $50,000 to one of the Halloween houses that they thought was the best.
So it's like during Christmas they have like the
houses,
the lights, the
Yeah, so it's
contest.
kind of the same thing.
I
but,
love
like, it was a
those.
So is this
TV
like
show.
those houses that have like the lights on it that are in sync for the music and all
Yeah,
that stuff? Or is
Ryan,
it
this
just
was,
like full walk through haunted
way-
house kind of thing?
This was like way more than that.
Wait,
like,
but these aren't like
these are real
professional
places.
companies. These are like people with a house, and they're like, "Come into my garage. I made it haunted."
No, they don't they're not. It's not like a molestation garage. It's
Okay, but they don't say it like that.
Is
but
it like it's a private person's home, or
Right.
it's like
These-
this
these
is
are
a company every
quote, unquote,
Halloween we rent out
amateurs.
this barn
No,
and
no,
like do this.
so
Right.
the two
it's
people
not
that I
like the
saw.
JC's local.
the
I
t-
went to one of those one time in a small town. The JC's presents the haunted
Yeah.
house, or whoever the JC's
The
are.
two-
But you know what I mean?
The two
This
things
is more
that
like Bob Smith's
the
haunted house.
two houses that I saw while I was like putzing around on my my phone. One was like these people owned a second house or something that they set up as like you know how you do the hay rides and stuff. In the,
Sure.
like,
Haunted hay rides.
haunted hay rides. They basically set up one of those at like the summer house that they own,
Mhm.
and it becomes like some John and Bill's.
So you don't have to have like a
Halloween Island Scare Fest, and then like they did that,
Halloween Island.
and then
wanna go there.
the other one was
just thinking of like all these like legal things in my head, like the
You're like,
insurance,
so many
business
problems.
license, like they
Liability.
what? This sounds like a nightmare.
Exactly.
the other one was the other one was this- yeah, and then the other one was this crazy thing where these people in Florida set up like this haunted pirate ship
Oh,
that
cool.
basically takes over.
Who
the-
are these people?
in Florida? They do it in Florida too. So like it's
Of
not,
course they do.
and it's a haunted.
It's a
pirate ship
haunted
that
fan
they
boat
set up in
ride.
front- It's so crazy. They set it up in front of their house, and what it is the guy used to be in like the Marines or the Air Force for like a million years, and he was really good at construction. So he like dumpster dives all year long for wood.
Yeah.
And then every year he rebuilds the facade of the side of one pirate ship to cover, and it's like 25 feet high.
Wow.
Like,
What?
inside his house with like holes for skeleton people.
Wow,
And
cool.
like a huge
Dang.
mast for
That's
sale.
awesome.
And then he dresses up in a pirate thing, and so does his wife, and so does 25 people in their neighborhood.
Wow.
And they said it's really close to Disney World. So like if you're down in Disney World, sometimes people will just take the 5-minute drive to like whatever
Wow.
non-Disney town that is. And like they say they get 4,000 to 5,000 kids every October to like check
Wow.
this thing out and like get candy.
Like, what
That's
is it
amazing.
about Halloween that people like, I want to say in the past 10, 15 years have just become more obsessed with? Like, I don't think Halloween was ever that
Really?
big of a deal before then.
Horrible childhood or
No,
It
I
was
mean, we
always my
dressed
favorite,
up
and I used to
everything,
do
but
a bit of a
I-
display myself at my house in front when I was like in
I think
grade.
it's two things. I think
not
one,
like
it's
a pirate ship, but
I think when you're little, you don't necessarily understand like the gravity of Halloween because you're just trick or treating around your neighborhood, maybe for a couple of hours, and that's really fun when you're a
Yeah.
kid because you're eating candy. But then as you get older and you start to realize that adults also still get wild for Halloween, and the level of getting wild takes it in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
It's not eat as much candy until I feel sick. It's a whole other like let's
I
wear
guess
clothes.
that's the part I never like.
Let's
be
wear
as
clothes
dress as
and
thought
slutty
of.
as possible.
Yeah,
and
that's the
drink
only.
as much as possible.
Look, I'm friends with multiple females who all say like it's the most fun thing because I can be as big of a slut as I want. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Give me a big eye roll. I don't know. Look, maybe you guys, present company excluded, but like I have heard many girls say out loud, they're like, "That's the only day where I feel like I can look as pretty as I want." What?
That's very sad.
Without judgment.
Yeah. So look, I feel
guess.
like
It's a
that
sad-
changes
But you're
your
still
perspective.
being judged.
Yes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, okay.
That changes your perspective on like what Halloween is. So that was my quick little story to
Interesting.
enter into the Magnet Labs podcast. So always make sure that you have something on your DVR that you can watch. That otherwise you're going to get sucked into.
But you apparently enjoyed it.
I couldn't
So-
tell you the name of the show or what. Like it was so weird. It was a guy and a girl who were like supposedly the judges. I hope these people are on like Good Morning America or something. I just
Sure.
don't know them. Or they're on some show where they like do fashion and design
Right.
work
Somehow
and they judge.
qualified. Yeah. Maybe.
Literally, it could have been me and Emily. I would have had no.
You're like, that's
pirate ship
awesome.
wins.
We're judging on whether or not these chalk writing behind us is good.
Kid of
We're going to
Kivington.
award you free McDonald's lunch. Yeah, like let's turn that into an hour-long.
Why not?
Like they literally just need like ABC people just clearly needed like some filler time. Oh God, it was so fun. Like the best part of the whole thing was actually the best part of the whole thing. I could
He
talk
has
about.
created more content than was actually in.
I
the
could.
show.
I could talk about things that make me
Commentary
laugh all the
episode.
time. Like from a producer standpoint, the best part of the whole thing was like they clearly had some guy like re-record one of those like famous Halloween songs
Mhm.
and like
Like
cut
Monster
together
Mash or
some
something?
like dope music, like musical montages of like the pirate ship experience.
Oh,
As there
wow.
was some like dude like fake rapping a song that
Oh,
clearly wasn't the
gosh.
guy. Like, and it made me laugh so hard. And I don't even remember
Oh,
what
man.
song it was. It wasn't like it wasn't like one of those like things you would hear in like Charlie Brown or even any of the other like Halloween stuff. It was just it was clearly like, wow, this footage is really boring. If we don't put some music under it, no one's gonna keep watching. Which is why we're on
Wow.
video now, because this is really exciting stuff to look at.
It is.
Google
We're
Hangouts,
just not looking
Magnet
at it.
Labs.
Now you can see me roll my eyes all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into the news. Emily, what
got?
news do we have? Emily,
We got
Ryan,
some
what
stories.
some news do we have?
I have to find
News
it.
in the
So
content
many-
marketing
so many
world.
things.
I don't know where it went.
So, because I see. Go down to the bottom. It looks like it's got your tray is on that screen, so it made that the
We're good.
primary screen.
Yeah.
We'll work this out. We're working out the kinks of the
Whoa.
handoff. So you just got to find Chrome.
And you just
There you
gotta
go.
move
And
one
now
of the
just drag
tabs.
whatever tabs over you want to that
I
screen.
don't see my mouse.
Your mouse is still on the TV.
So it's
you
over
gotta go
there.
all the
So
way to
now
the
pull
left.
back to the left. Yeah, there you
How
go.
fun is this
And
to
that-
watch?
and
You just
that-
have to link this.
I don't see my
And now your mouse is over there.
Like, here's
Okay.
this screen and here's that screen.
Okay. Okay.
And now you just drag one of those over.
Just drag that puppy right into the screen.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
Awesome.
Got it.
Awesome.
Technology.
And then what you can do
Whoa.
is now go back. This is a behind the scenes episode.
BTS.
now go back to the
The
hangout.
Okay. Where's that?
The actual, it's going to be in another window on its own. There you go. So now in here, click into,
Oh God.
Where is it going?
work this out.
I gotta.
This is awesome. Shannon, tell me about tell me about your
So in
breakfast.
here, just click anywhere.
What did you
So
have?
bring it. There you go. Now
I
click the little screen
got some
share.
coffee from my
Next
favorite
one up.
coffee man, and he told me he's thinking about
Screen
moving
share.
to Canada, and I'm really
Screen
sad.
share.
Well, can we talk about the other thing you had for
Sure.
breakfast this morning?
I had a Pop-Tart.
Boom.
What kind
now
of
we're
Pop-Tart?
looking at that.
The
And then when you're
s'mores.
done, you can just stop.
So
it and
I
come
think
back.
I'm out on the s'mores.
Sorry about
Pop-Tarts.
that.
No
You don't like
worries.
them?
We're
So
this
there
is
are a
real
bunch
time,
of-
man. This
there
is
are a
happening
bunch of
now.
This is the
flavors
passing of the torch
Pop-Tart
in
that
real time.
look good on the box,
They're
but are
talking about
not
something.
the most delicious.
They're
to eat.
delicious. I don't like any
This is
other
the first
kind of
time in the
Pop-Tart.
Magna
You
Labs
like the
history, I think,
s'mores?
where
I
we've
feel
had
like-
two
Yeah.
Don't you feel
conversations
like the
happening at
corners
once.
of
And
the
whoever's
s'mores
listening right
Pop-Tarts
now
are
is
super gross.
getting a
How hard
headache.
is No, it's graham cracker.
But it's not that it's graham cracker. It's not.
Um,
There's not enough
the-
filling all the way to
Yeah,
the end.
that's true.
you
We're
know?
talking about Pop-Tarts.
We're just discussing how fascinating it was that we've got two dueling conversations
Yeah.
at the same time, which made me think I'll be quick. But You Talking You Two to Me podcast that I've mentioned before with Scott Ackerman and Adam Scott. They just call themselves Adam Scott is what they call it. Scott's. They did a commentary podcast episode where they played back their first episode and then talked about it on top of it. It was so like hilarious, but it like
That was
gave me a
actually-
headache after an hour because you just heard them sort of talking in the background, buzzing along while they were talking about it. Every few minutes they'd like go, "What are we talking about?" And they'll turn it back up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, remember when we said that? Turn it back down." It was so weird. It was very funny.
We need to have like a breakfast cereal and like breakfast food.
Oh,
podcast.
that'd be nice.
I'd be
Just because I have
thrilled
a lot
with
of opinions about cereal that
I love breakfast food.
so relevant.
We just had a big conversation. We were having a big conversation about the s'mores pop.
culture.
Let's go to this. Let's go back.
All
to
right.
more things that are relevant to Magnet Labs.
Sure.
I love
The
Pop-Tarts.
the Pop Tarts and cereal podcast will be a different. Magnet Cereal podcast will be.
I'm
That will be-
sign me up.
Tune in on Mondays for the Magnet Cereal
Back to that.
podcast. Where we talk about different cereal and milk choices.
I mean, is anyone doing that one right now?
look,
Maybe.
there's so many different kinds of milk and so many different kinds of cereal at this point.
That's true.
We could easily do a weekly podcast about that.
I'd be down.
Just try
Let's go to
it.
HBO. Sorry.
All right. Awesome.
Tell us about
So what do
this
we got
HBO
here?
story that happened last week. Do you want me to
Um,
talk about it?
Yeah.
No one else is talking. This is the worst podcast.
HBO
ever.
is launching a
It's hard
standalone
to
streaming
talk the whole
service in
time.
2015.
I can do a podcast by myself. Where I point counterpoint with myself. This is what happens in my apartment when I'm alone. too.
Sure.
I do this. I'm like, does this look good? No, it doesn't really look good. Do I want to have Subway or cook something? I don't know.
Are you like singing to yourself?
Probably. That's why the vocal incantations up and down in the song and serious voice, coming in and out.
It's like both sides of art.
Yeah.
I believe that.
So this whole thing that happened last week that we didn't get a chance to talk about on the last pod
Sure.
was HBO obviously launching their own standalone streaming service in 2015, which essentially means that you, Ryan, Emily can go, HBO, I want to give you blank amount of money per month. And for a
Mhm.
blank amount of money per month, I am going to get HBO through my internet connection, and then I can zip that baby to my
Right.
TV
Without having to pay for a cable subscription.
without having to pay for a monthly cable subscription for multiple channels and music channels and
Right.
home phone and all that other kind
Don't
of
you
stuff.
think the cable provider would be like, fine, we're not going to carry you anymore?
So two things. Let's talk about the cable providers actually first because you went there first. I think that that's a really interesting question and one that I think the cable operators are kind of effed in this area. It's like if Time Warner or Comcast or Verizon Fios or who are the other ones? Like
DirecTV.
AT&T Uverse, DirecTV. I don't know who DirecTV does their internet providing with. Like I don't know who their combo of like internet and TV services. I don't know the answer, but like
I
Dish,
assume it will be AT&T.
Dish, any of those things. Like, let's think about those things for a second. If DirecTV was like magically one day, like you can't get HBO anymore, I
Right.
think a lot of people would be like, "Oh crap, I need to go look for an alternative."
Yeah.
Because I'm used to getting my HBO through you guys. I don't want to have two separate bills
Mhm.
and two separate things. So that was a whole thing where I was like, I sort of feel like HBO is too popular at this point, and they have too many popular shows to make that change.
I don't think the cable companies aren't in a position to bargain with losing that, because that's half of that's a big reason for having it.
When there have been like channels that have gotten blacked out from like your cable service for a little while due to like issues, normally they're like not the most popular channels. And if they were, like I remember CBS had an issue with like Dish for a little while.
Yeah, Cablevision was a thing.
You got to fix that. They moved to fix that thing quick because there's too much money on the line. You know, like that's the whole thing is like, as long as
block out a sports game, that's really important. And
people
get upset.
As long as the cable providers are still getting money, as long as like everyone's still getting rich, like I don't know that the cable providers are going to care that HBO is like trying to cut them out.
I think they'll definitely care. I just don't think that they can like, you know, threaten to drop them in order to keep. Like I honestly think, I'm fairly certain this is the case, is that it took as long as it has, even though it's relatively quick, to get to the point where HBO is looking at unbundling and sort of offering us, you know, an HBO subscription only, HBO Go, was because of all the legacy, as I understand this, all the agreements of like affiliates and local cable providers and all that, like it, because there's such an infrastructure there of agreements that probably go way back, that they kind of couldn't cut that piece out. But apparently now they've managed to get to the point where they can, and it's probably that, like they hold the power, I would guess, in that. I mean, they need the distribution, but if they can distribute themselves and, you know, basically just via the internet,
the middleman. But then
they're not going to get dropped.
They're still reliant on those same companies as internet service providers a lot of the times. So what happens now? I forget where we were at with this, but are they allowed to block certain content now? The internet service providers?
Oh, you mean like the whole net neutrality thing? Well, that, I mean, that's the other issue is is like what they have done is like throttle back, you know, Netflix streaming, things like that. But that's becoming a more mainstream issue. And like if they just blocked something, I mean, there would be an uproar. Like
they could just,
because people look at it as like a utility, even though it's not.
Screw over HBO or whoever else does this, just like slow down all that information, and then you'd have to go back to paying them for cable.
I kind of wonder if whatever deal they've probably had to work out in order to make this work somehow, if the traditional providers aren't getting some cut still in some way, like, you know, almost a payoff, like, look, we'll still give you a cut of our streaming as long as you keep carrying us.
So why did they cut a bunch of people if they're launching this new business? They laid off a ton of people at HBO, right?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yes, they did. They're laying off 7% of their work staff.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Hundreds of people. They have 2,400 people that work at HBO. So 7% is a few hundred.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, I was talking to somebody that I know that works over there yesterday because I was worried about her job. And she was saying basically like every department is being affected, but it's like when you have layoffs of that kind, it's like usually 1 or 2 people per department.
Wow.
Across the board.
Yeah.
There's really nothing that like nothing is sort of being
it's not whole programs dropped.
And
it's
I
just like
those layoffs I think are more tied to like Time Warner's issues, which owns HBO, than they are like than HBO's problems. I think the thing that was super interesting to me about this HBO thing is that I don't know if it shows it in this Washington Post article, but everywhere I was reading was that the service through the internet that you're going to get through HBO, I do think there are certain things that you won't get through the HBO, like if they're just calling it HBO Go, pay as you go thing. Like, I don't know if it's you may not get all the movies that they air across all their channels. You may not get those movies at the same time that they're airing on regular stations. The thing that was most interesting to me is I was really actively thinking about this. So I currently have Time Warner Cable. I'm not afraid to say that. It's fine. It's not the best ever. I'd much rather have Verizon Fios because it's more channels. But whatevs. I have Time Warner. They have sort of a pseudo monopoly in New York City in my building.
Yeah,
rock and roll. I'll stick with the Time Warner because I like sports. I currently pay, I think, like I want to say somewhere between $15 and $20 a month to have HBO and like 5 HBO broadcast channels, HBO Go, obviously, HBO On Demand, HBO 3D, like I get a lot of stuff from my HBO. HBO through the internet is going to be offered directly in that sweet spot of price where it's $16 a month.
Is that what it's going to be?
It's going to be $15.99 or $16.99 a month, which to me signaled 2 things. One, I believe, and this is not totally true, I think that every single person that is paying for HBO through their Time Warner, Comcast, Dish, whatever, those people they're going to have to reduce the costs for this. If I'm paying for my HBO package through Time Warner at the same price that I would be paying for it directly from HBO, why won't I just go directly to HBO and
then that's
except
another
then you
bill
get both,
have to
right?
pay and you have to sign up and you have
because
to
if I understand it right, I mean, it's people that pay for cable HBO already get HBO Go bundled in included.
Sure.
So if they want both,
So
then
what
they're
I'm
going to
saying
pay
is-
for both if
So
they
what I'm
want
saying
just
is,
HBO Go.
Why would if one of those things wasn't dramatically priced in a different way, why don't I just especially if my HBO package through my cable provider is more expensive than getting HBO directly from HBO?
Yeah.
Why would I not just cancel it?
Sure.
Get it directly from HBO? Because the other thing that people don't factor into their
But a lot of people won't do that because they're just not early
Nobody wants
adopters.
to call their cable company. Think about the last time you had a call like
half of it, well, people
Sure.
just won't change their plan. People that are not online ready for that are going to stay with what they're used to.
I'm venturing to guess based on the way that I think these things work is that my HBO package through Time Warner Cable is going to go from $18 or $20 a month down to $10 or $8 a month very quick. The second this thing launches. Because as a customer, why? Because the other thing that you don't realize when you look at your cable and internet bundled bills, all people that are listening and watching to this, you get taxed on all of that stuff. And the more services you have, the more you are taxed. So your bill actually goes up on a slight percentage more, the more stuff that you have. So if I pulled $20 of HBO service out of my Time Warner cable package, that also reduces the tax burden that you're charged every single month. So it's actually probably like $21 or $22 that totally comes out of my bill. And over the course of a few years, that's legitimate savings. I'm venturing to guess that everyone's going to cue in on this really quickly and be like, oh crap, we're going to need to reduce our costs and still give everybody all the HBO stuff that they have, because we don't want them switching I don't think the cable operators want people going around them directly to HBO.
But how many people have TVs that are, internet ready? And like, are you really going to sit and watch everything on your laptop? I mean, younger people will, but when you think about
thinking even of like my own parents, like they're never going
Right.
to buy this.
That's what I mean.
You know
I
what
think like people like you and us in this room, early
Yeah.
adopter cord cutters would see that and go, oh, absolutely. Why do I need the rest of it? But most people will just stay business as usual, and
Agreed.
they're going to want both. They don't want,
it's going to end up working out well for them, because I believe that their total monthly cable bill is going to come down. I really do.
I see what you're saying.
I think that it's going to come down like $10 a month,
right.
because they don't want people to go give HBO this money directly.
But so you're saying you think the cable provider that will drop the bill, not HBO dropping their cost within that bundle?
Here's the reality of what HBO is going to do, because this is the way every single thing, whether it's the Kim Kardashian game or Spotify or Pandora or any of those kind of things work, is that this initial price of $16.99 or $15.99 to get HBO, I am sure they have some additional pricing tiers that are going to be more expensive than that on their 18 or 20-month roadmap, 24-month roadmap for this product. Like there could be HBO exclusive movies that you don't get through HBO Go, but if you agree to do an in-app purchase and buy one more HBO movie for that extra 99 cents for that month to watch it because you didn't get access to it, they're going to start nickeling and diming you on other types of things. And that's where the cost of these HBO things are going to be like, get expensive. I personally believe this HBO 1 version of this, 1.0 version of this, it's going to be $15.99 or $16.99. There's going to end up being tiers, just like there is Apple's iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. There's going to be like an HBO internet service. And then there's going to be something called like HBO Unlimited, which is going to be like $24.99 a month or $27.99 a month, where you get HBO 1, 2, 3, you get the East and West Coast feed. So if you miss something, you can just tune right back. Like you're going to get HBO Unlimited, and that's going to be even more. If they're not factoring that, people should be thinking about that as they start to make these kind of decisions, because it has to be in the cards. I would believe.
Makes sense.
That's what all of these products do, is that they give you the baseline model, understanding that there are things that they're holding back that they're going to want to charge you for later on.
Of course.
And that's it's really interesting to me. And the thing, I know I went to that Synopsis Future of TV Summit. We did talk about, there was some of this conversation. I know we've had some of these conversations on the podcast before, but like, all right, guys, like if you really like HBO and you really like ESPN and you really like Showtime and you really like the broadcast networks and you really like, let's say 2 other channels, Bravo and what's another channel? Food Network.
Yep.
And each of those are charging you $18 a month. Newsflash, you're going to get 8 channels for $120 and I get 200,000 channels for $120 right now
Right.
from cable. So like that's where like that's the long tail money trail of this whole thing, which I think is really, really interesting. You know, that's why this is like a big power move. And the conversation a lot is around like whether or not other networks are going to go do this. And I just don't know. It's not because I'm trying to save my livelihood from a job standpoint. It's more like I just don't see this being a good deal for consumers. I just really like unless these consumers are really trying to figure out a way to like keep the TV content. Let's not even call it TV. Let's just call it the content that you watch. If you're really trying to be really thrifty and spending less than $50 a month, then maybe you're just going to get a subscription to Netflix, a subscription to Hulu Plus, and a subscription to HBO, and then you're going to have the new school rabbit ears, which are a box for your broadcast network stuff, and you're just going to be cool with that.
Yep.
I think that there's a vast divide between the people that are looking to spend less than $50 a month on stuff to watch, and the people that actually watch stuff through their television.
Yeah.
There's just a big divide.
Well, then they're just going to jack up the price for the internet for everybody doing that.
Well, that's the other thing.
I mean, if you drop cable, then hey, your internet's $60 a month.
That's true.
Well, and you're talking about other networks. I mean, so the other piece we didn't even talk about is CBS. In the same breath, basically, they're doing a set top or an over-the-top piece.
So the CBS thing is much more limiting because you
There's
don't get any
it's a different model.
You don't get any of the NFL broadcasts.
Yep.
Oh, you don't?
You don't know. You don't.
It's just all their shows, basically, right?
All the shows that CBS owns, that CBS Studios produces, and like some CBS shows are produced by Fox, ABC. Like they do have these production studios that air their stuff. So it's much more limiting of a service. And the weird thing about CBS going to do that is that like CBS is the most watched old person network, and like I don't really know like your parents or my mom or anything like. They're going to be the ones that are like, you know what? I really don't need my cable service. I'm going to go buy CBS directly from whatever, so I can watch Big Bang Theory. To my heart.
Well, and I'm trying to. I haven't been following that story as closely, but I can't remember. Is CBS not have their content on Hulu now? I think they don't. Is that the deal?
Yes.
Because otherwise, why would you need that if it's on Hulu? But I think they've held it back.
For your cable provider, sometimes.
Well, on
like
demand.
If you have Xfinity or something, you can watch it through there.
But again, that assumes you've got a regular cable subscription and all that. The idea here would be is you could do it with or without it, right? And separately, I think I said this to Emily. I haven't read any stories about it, but I got an email, like a survey email from Hulu, like a month ago, that was basically teasing out what would you pay, and it gave us all these different scenarios. It was so obvious, like about if we bundled Showtime to go or whatever it's called, Showtime Now, whatever they call it. Bundled that in with Hulu, would you pay $5 more a month? Would you pay this more a month?
Are you a Hulu Plus?
Yeah.
Hulu Plus? Cool. That's really cool.
So clearly they're talking, Showtime's talking to Hulu about like rolling their stuff in Hulu as like an add-on, not just like throw their shows in, but like get Showtime Go, basically, or whatever they call it, as part of Hulu.
You know what's really interesting about all this kind of stuff? And I know that I'm more of a lean forward television watcher than probably most people, and I like to watch things. And I also really like to check out new shows. There are so many new shows that are coming out, and I feel like the next calendar year from today in October through October of next year that are like PlayStation exclusives, Xbox One exclusives, whatever, that I want to watch. And I don't know if I'm going to get screwed and not be able to watch. Like, I sort of really want like Time Warner or somebody to just be like, give me those as an on-demand option for $4.99, like I would be any movie. So I can watch like the first episode of blank. And I just don't know. Like there are shows that I definitely are going to watch. There's like a Halo show for Microsoft that like I feel like looks really cool. That I've seen.
But that's the point though, is they want it to entice you into
and I'm going to get sucked into
their
signing
ecosystem
up for all of this kind of other stuff too, and then just be in a place where this is I have to have
everything.
Netflix. Why can't I just have like an overall subscription?
Cable. Wait, what?
So when we were at this thing last week or 2 weeks ago, that was basically like the whole circular argument
It
was
all
like,
comes back again.
hey,
now it's just all through internet pipes, but it's all the same.
Saving you money to go back to cable.
Not to like sound like an a-hole, but like this is what happened in like telecom like a million years ago. It's like all like AT&T was trying to bundle itself together with like Bell, Bell and like all these other phone companies They all got bundled together. They were forced because it was monopolistic practices to break
Break it up.
And then over the last 20 years, everyone's just bundled that together.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's so dumb.
It's going to be pretty funny if, like, you know, I'm sitting here as a 60-year-old, probably not in this conference room anymore, but
Maybe.
you know, sitting here as a 60-year-old and being like, do you remember that time where like all my channels got unbundled?
Yeah.
And over time, they just rebundled themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
pretty
probably
weird.
what's gonna happen.
and that's
Yeah,
why we're called
probably.
Magnet Media. Is you take
This
the
becomes the
magnets
next
apart,
behemoth. There you
put
go.
them together.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
I think with that, we're already actually at 10:30. This was a brief one, but we have a meeting after this.
Do you want? Yeah, we have a
Oh,
big
yeah.
meeting that you need to run, Ryan. Do you want to give any last words on your last POD? What do you want to say?
Such a pleasure.
Where are you going? Do you want to tell
Learning and
people?
growing. Well, pertinent
Sing
to
us
this
off.
discussion, I'm going to DirecTV, so I'll have a very different perspective on some of these
Mhm.
conversations,
Yeah.
actually, which should be pretty interesting.
Cool.
I'll just put it
We're
there.
sad to see you leave.
Congrats.
I'm sad to go, but you know, it's time.
Over the next few months, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be evolving this podcast to make it much less Ryan centric.
Has it been super Ryan centric?
It's
all about me.
People, and I only got one on Shannon. Shannon knows that I'm
This
just being
is so
like,
Ryan centric.
less Ryan centric. Must be
More RJ
Like
probably.
next
Probably
week.
more RJ talking. It could use a little more
I'm
RJ.
just here to laugh in the background.
I'm the only one here that's like giving weird stories. I just like am down to like open up about stuff. Let's just like open up. And
it's
have a
very
conversation with
charming.
people about things.
We're gonna put you like on an egg timer, and when it goes off, we're gonna let Emily talk.
Next person.
Okay, I actually like.
You're gonna
that.
have a talking stick. Pass
Well,
it
you
around.
guys should have like a time where you like bing me if I'm going too long on a story. That's
What is
completely
it?
fine.
thing is, it's
PTI where they do
entertaining.
the countdown.
Yeah, PTI. It's
We're
one of
gonna
my
have to
favorite
do
shows.
that.
Oh, I love that show.
Which?
PTI.
Pardon the interruption.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know that.
It's so
Minute
great. They do, like,
segment.
That's
next
cool.
seconds per
Right.
story, and there's a bell rings and you gotta move.
Right.
It's great.
We
That show's
talked about that
It's great.
format for
It's
some
And
really
I like the
great.
ticker because I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I want to see the fourth story down.
Yeah.
Great concept.
Mm.
Really good concept. So
I
yeah,
like
we're
it.
going to be evolving this, continuing to try to do it on video, seeing what else we can do. Hopefully, bringing some new staff members into the fold and just talking about cool stuff.
Yeah.
Give the last plugs.
Hey, you know where to find us. MagnetMediaFilms.com/blog. Twitter, Magnet Media Inc. Facebook, Magnet Media Inc. YouTube, Magnet Media Films. Just to keep you on your
What do we
toes.
call these? Are these like air guns?
Air guns.
I think so.
What are they called? They're like cowboy
Bing, bing.
fingers?
Yeah.
Cowboy.
I think
Cowboy
that's what
Air
fingers.
pistols. Air
Yeehaw.
pistols. I don't know.
Holster those babies.
Pistol finger.
Yeah.
Gun fingers. Gun.
I like,
don't know.
I like
I
to
like
do that.
cowboy.
Wait,
fingers.
Ryan, you can
Cowboy
still
fingers?
join in with the Google Hangout
Sure,
while
that's
you're
true.
at work.
That's true. Perhaps I
Yeah.
Are
can.
you gonna? That
just
would be really
chime in.
cool.
Maybe just from time to time, at
I
least.
like that. I would, like
I
to
would
get
enjoy
Brandon
that.
in on this too when he's.
I know, right? I
Brandon
mean, we
Morning.
should be using the Hangout format to its
We'll
fullest.
get
Yeah.
some guests.
Yeah.
We're gonna push on some guests.
Yeah.
I can't just tell weird stories all the time.
Well, I mean, it's very
Yeah.
entertaining, but maybe
It
the
is
guests can
entertaining.
hear those stories and then add their own stories.
So, like, follow, subscribe, all of our
All
things
that
that Ryan
stuff.
just
Get
mentioned.
involved, man.
Keep watching. We'll
Yeah.
try to keep this more consistent. Futz with the times and air cowboy fingers to you all.
Always.
Have
With
fun on
that.
Halloween. Don't get too boozed up. Keep eating.
Thanks
hot
so
dogs.
much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, so.
So you go back to
Pop Tarts.
that window. Stop.